Hey, what's going on, guys? All on channel. Your host Sega Forever. Brand new video for you guys today. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard ad nauseum about the apology held around the world. Basically talking about Pete Hines, who's the head of marketing, I believe, for Bethesda. Basically said that he apologized to PS5 owners because they couldn't get their hands on Bethesda's games, specifically Starfield. So talk about that a little bit because I have a little bit of a different perspective on it. Um, like most people in the Xbox community, I agree that you don't have to apologize to anyone, especially the PlayStation side, since they've been dealing with, and Sony's specifically been dealing with exclusivity throughout this entire generation, and even beforehand. Trust me, I'm a Sega dude. I know how this stuff works. So, I can see that his heart was in the right place, but he really doesn't have to do it. Dealing with these guys for the last, what has it been, 5, 6 years, specifically, ever since the Xbox One came onto the scene. Um, look, but Sony has a game plan that they want to stick to. That's their business, dude. I don't participate in the PlayStation ecosystem at all. The last PlayStation I owned was the PS3. Never touched the PS4. Don't plan on getting the PS5. So Sony does what Sony needs to do. Since I'm on the Xbox side, and because of what Xbox done over the last 5 to 6 years, um, I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine with not having a PlayStation. There's enough stuff on our side of the aisle to keep us occupied, which is why we're going back to the Bethesda purchase, which everybody pretty much lost their mind about last week, or excuse me, last year, especially when it comes to the gaming media. Microsoft doing that was something that was unprecedented. So this is why you're getting a lot of this stuff. Now, with Bethesda being a third-party company prior to, or publisher, I can understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, man, look, again, as everybody's saying, Sony and PlayStation has been doing this for years, right? So it doesn't make any sense when people complain about it. And I look, Pete Hines, I'm not coming down on the guy. I mean, he seems like a genuine person. He reminds me a lot of Phil Spencer. This is probably why the Bethesda deal went through, because Phil Spencer, Tom Howard, um, and Pete Hines, they all have this great relationship. I mean, something like that was more than just the numbers, more than just the money. These guys have been working together. Like, I think Tim Howard said that on the E3 stage, Xbox Bethesda E3 stage. He basically came on and said that they've had this relationship for over 20 years. And to be honest, Bethesda probably wouldn't have been around if it wasn't for Xbox in the beginning, because Xbox helped them. I'll let you guys look at that online, do some research on it, you'll see. But yeah, again, I'm not coming down on Pete Hines. I know why he did what he did. That's why I kind of didn't jump on a video right away. The only reason I'm doing this is because I do want to clear some stuff up. Because what Pete Hines ended up doing was he did another video, like a follow-up, to give clarity, right, to what he was trying to say. And when you look at what he's trying to say, some people are saying it's PR talk and stuff like that. I think it's genuine, just from the little bit I know of his history, and of course the relationship between Bethesda and Microsoft. I'll give the guy the benefit of the doubt. The only thing that I will say to Mr. Hines, man, is just look, welcome to the party. And this is your baptism by fire. Now that you guys are batting for Microsoft exclusively, this is what you're gonna have to put up with. Why the person asked him that question in the first place? A lot of people said that's gaming news, but it's a no-brainer. Like I said, PlayStation's already been doing that. So for the people on the PlayStation side who was upset, then you should be upset with your own company, because they're already doing it. And for the journalist to pull it out, I mean, maybe it's clickbait, but the dude, I think he's also a Sony fan too. To ask him that question when already it's settled already. I mean, they came out and did that at the E3 press conference, and there's still people holding on to the fact that they'll get that game. Right? For me personally, and I've talked about this on other videos on my channel, I don't ever see that happening. For two reasons, right? I'll reiterate these 2 points I made in previous videos. Number one, Sony probably wouldn't like that. I don't think people think about the fact that they think that Microsoft can snap their fingers and make this happen, that Microsoft is the problem, but actually the problem would be Sony. Again, using this as an example, MLB The Show, it's on Game Pass right now. But to get it on PlayStation, you have to pay $70 to buy the game. Now, there's PlayStation fans saying they're more than happy to pay that price. That's fine. If that's the console you support, then that's all fine and dandy. Then you pay your $70. But what they have to realize is that a lot of people don't want to pay the $70 when they can get it cheaper, which is the subscription price of paying Game Pass, on top of all the stuff you get for Game Pass. It's just a good deal. So people won't do that. They just won't. It just doesn't make any sense financially. And then most people aren't hardcore Sony fans, as Sony fans will find out really quickly, right? Because they're supposed to be the industry darlings, which they still are, and they have all these hundreds of 100,000, whatever, 100 million consoles that they supposedly sold. But they don't understand, again, it's something that I talked about on my channel, it's called market share, right? If those people start shifting over to the Xbox side to take advantage of Game Pass, and then these games are here, then naturally, right, people will play in this ecosystem. And that's where the change is going to be. Right? So to Mr. Hines, who's sitting there talking about, again, no hate, but him talking about, feeling sympathy for the Bethesda fans. That's what I came across in his second statement. There's Bethesda fans that own PlayStation. That's true. But just again, just to reiterate, welcome to the party, right? Because the reason why you're getting this hate is because you back for Xbox now, and you back for Xbox specifically. You and Tom Howard should have picked up on this when you first started doing the stages for Microsoft, right? You would do the Microsoft E3 way before this. Like you said, you have a good relationship. You guys, in the background, you guys were working, and that was coming more to light over the last 4 or 5 years. The input you put on the consoles, especially when Microsoft was trying to upgrade their consoles, and then we had this thing where like Microsoft consoles are kind of like cell phones, where they're doing iterations of the consoles, right? And then you guys will come on and talk about it a little bit more, and that's when these Sony guys, man, these hardcore psycho Sony fans are pegging you guys as Microsoft shills. They were doing it back then, so this kind of shouldn't have been a surprise for you that they were doing that, because all of a sudden the narrative changed from great games like Skyrim and stuff like that to you guys are starting to lose your mojo, so to speak. And the only reason these guys are saying that is because you show support to Microsoft. And when you support the Microsoft, man, a lot of these hardcore PlayStation guys, man, they'll hate that, man, and they'll turn on you. And again, to Mr. Hines, like I said, welcome to the party. This is how it is, right? You're getting your baptism by fire. And when it comes to the Sony side, man, like you said, you're sympathetic for Bethesda fans that have a PlayStation or play on PlayStation. Well, if they're Bethesda fans, then they'll come over to the Xbox side. First and foremost, I'll point that out. But the ones that you're apologizing that's going to stay on the Sony side, dude, they never were Bethesda fans. Sony fans are Sony fans first and foremost. That's just the way it is, man. It's always been like that. I can tell you that from experience because, like I said, I'm a Sega fan. I've been dealing with these dudes since the 90s when the console first came out. A lot of the guys who played Sony back then were, well, I like to call those are the original Dude Bro gamers, man. Like Halo had their Dude Bro gamers and stuff like that, but all the casuals were on PlayStation because Sony made it cool to be a gamer, man. I come from a time when it wasn't cool to be a gamer, a geek, or a nerd. Right, so Sony made it cool because it was seen as an electronic device, not technically a video game console. In fact, kids would use that to get their parents to buy it from because you could either listen to your CDs on it, like a CD player, or you could eventually be able to watch movies on it. So that was a justification for them to buy the console. So you could play games, but your parents wouldn't feel so bad because it's not a waste of money. It's not child play. That's the way it was presented. So these are the people that have come into the gaming community now. These are the people you're dealing with. That's why a lot of these guys are in their 40s crying on crying on YouTube videos, talking about how you guys betrayed them because you're not supporting PlayStation anymore, right? And just another FYI for you guys out there, again, going back to the market share, because there's still people thinking that Xbox has to put Bethesda games on Sony PlayStation. Again, I made the point, this is other video that I did called market share, right? If you have 100 million consoles, right, so, and then you have 100 million users, which I don't believe they do, but let's just say you have all these users. Not all of you guys are hardcore Sony fans, right? So if the pendulum starts to switch to the other side, and for the right reasons too, man, Microsoft's put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this ecosystem that they built, man, with the Game Pass, with the backwards compatibility. They just released a couple videos showing upgraded versions of Metro. Was it Metro Exodus? I can't remember the name of the game right now. And then, a couple of the games that they have in Game Pass, right? They've upgraded the graphical prowess of the game. So if you have the game, like I own the Metro game, right? So I can go in right now, get the update, and then I'll be good to go. And I have a 4K TV, so I'll be enjoying the game at the highest fidelity, right? And that's the kind of stuff that Microsoft has put in, and that will appeal to a lot of different people. In fact, especially people that don't have an axe to grind in the console war stuff, right? Which is, you can see that changing now, man. You see PC guys changing their videos. You see just average gamers, changing their videos, talking about how they like Game Pass and that, they're looking at getting an Xbox even though they can't find one. And that's what's driving all these PlayStation guys nuts. So, again, understand your point of view there, Mr. Hines, but please keep in mind that these guys don't really care about you or your company. It's just console war BS, dude. It's a talking point is all it is. They probably don't even own your game or never played Skyrim. Just being honest. But hey, anyway, welcome to the Xbox family. Like I said, baptism by fire, you know how it really is now. And the only way you're going to change it, man, is by what you guys are doing. Helping Microsoft bring the best games to the most people on their system that's available to everybody if they choose to be in the system. If you don't choose to be in that system, that's not your fault. That's the choice of the person that chooses not to buy an Xbox. Which these PlayStation hardcore guys will never buy an Xbox, no matter what Microsoft has done. We've said it a ton of times in the Xbox community. Microsoft could cure cancer, and these guys would still be bitter. And that's just the way it is. I don't know why it's that way, but it is. That's why the console war will never die, even though a lot of you guys are saying it's going to die. I think it's going to get less, right? Especially when the normies start coming over to the Xbox side, that'll help. Right, because you see people talking out more about against the console war. None of these guys was around in 2013, even some of the bigger Xbox guys. And it's better for you guys to be on the Xbox side, right? And I was talking to Bethesda specifically, because on the Xbox side, Xbox guys play games. And by playing games, I mean if they want to play like a guy like me that wants to play Animal Crossing, because my daughter still loves that game, right? Then I'll go and buy a Switch and buy Animal Crossing to play. If I wanted to play a couple of the RPGs that I see coming to Sony, which I don't know why Sony guys are so pissed, man. They do got some good games coming out, from what I see, right? Normally don't pay attention, but with all this crap going on, it happened. There's a couple of good RPGs. I'd be like, if their community wasn't full of pricks and I couldn't stand the practices of Sony, and I really, really wanted to play that game, I'd go over there and get it. I will buy a console and go and play. That's how we think on the Xbox side. Because there's a lot of the hardcore Xbox guys, some of their biggest influence, they're multi-console guys. Just watch their videos, they'll tell you. You know, guys like me who stick in the ecosystem, I just need my Xbox. I'm good. I've been gaming for years, man. I've been through it all. So I don't need to have like every single console, especially when the console I have gives me everything I need. But keep it on the Xbox side, because the Xbox guys, I mean, people say we have Xbox and stuff like that. I don't know, man. I don't see it. You can say I'm being biased, but I know on our side we play games. And where that's good for the industry is that if an Xbox guy sees a game on another console or on PC that they want to play, they'll go out and get it and play it. That's what we do on this side. So it's better that you're on this side. But just keep that in mind when you're looking at the community as a whole. I know this might be a little bit new for you guys in Bethesda, um, but again, is it fair? No. Is that the way it is? Can't help it. Anyway, just wanted to put that out there really quickly, give you guys my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think down below. On the channel, we'll say goodbye. We out.